Today I wanted to show you some exercises to help open up the front side of your hips. The hip flexors, which help your legs go up. You really use them when you're walking, and they become very tight if you are sitting for long periods of time, or if you're a distance runner or an endurance biker or an avid CrossFitter. So most of us have pretty tight hip flexors in the front of the hips, which also prevents us from breathing deeply. So hopefully by opening up the hip flexors, you'll be able to take some deeper breaths at the end, which also helps to get you more relaxed. So start out in a comfortable seated position, sitting high on your mat or on your sit bones that are on your mat. And I always like to have a blanket or a towel nearby. If I'm super tight in my lower back or in my hip, sometimes just elevating a little bit helps me to come into a more comfortable and a safer seated position. So I'm going to sit on my towel today. Go ahead and close your eyes, soften the face, shoulders drawn softly away from ears, and just take a few breaths. Nothing too deep, just noticing your regular rhythm of breathing right now. It's always good to be aware of your breath when doing yoga and when stretching. You don't want to hold your breath in your stretches. The next exhale, lowering the chin to the chest, keeping the shoulders drawn away from the ears, stretching out the back side of the neck. And now slowly rotating the right ear toward the right shoulder, walking away the left fingertips, if that feels comfortable. And then circling the head to the other side, so the left ear toward the left shoulder, making sure that the shoulder's not creeping up toward the ear, but it's staying drawn away from the ear. Softening the chin, making sure you're breathing. Now rotating the chin back to center, chin toward the chest, finding length in the back of the neck. Now drawing the crown of the head back toward the ceiling, perhaps opening your eyes, pulling your belly in, working on some hip rolls. So we're going to roll left to right to begin with. Trying not to allow your hip to come up off your mat, but for both sit bones to stay firmly planted on the mat. Think about keeping the spine long, which means you might only be able to circle a little bit and not too much. And that's fine. This is your workout, so just check into how your body feels. Depending on how you slept last night or what workout you might have just completed will depend on how your body feels, as well as a lot of different other things. What you ate. Go ahead and reverse that. And continue to breathe. So think about inhaling as you rise and find length, and exhaling as you fold and round. Breathing through the nose, keeping the mouth closed. One more circle. Now sitting upright, taking the right arm, reaching it toward the ceiling. The left fingertips walk out to the side, and we're going to tip to the side, stretching out the side of the body and beginning to work on some spinal mobility before we go into our deep stretches. Go ahead and release that hand down. With an inhale, bring the other hand up toward the ceiling. Tipping as much as you can and trying not to fold forward, but opening through the heart space. Exhale to release that. One more time on each side, taking it to where you feel comfortable and not feeling pain. With the next exhale, releasing that down. Inhale, reaching with the other arm. Next exhale, releasing that down. And now walking your hands forward, coming onto all fours. And this is another great place to have a towel. If you have knee problems and if they hurt, you can just place the towel underneath your knees. Add a little softness. Spreading the fingers wide, keeping the elbows soft, a little micro bend in the elbows. Lining wrists directly under shoulders and knees directly under hips. We're going to move into some cat-cows, continuing to mobilize the spine. Inhaling for extension. Chin and tail come up. Exhaling to round the back, pressing the belly button toward the ceiling. So moving in and out through cat and cow. Shoulders away from ears as you rise up. And releasing and pressing belly toward the ceiling. Inhaling and exhaling with your own breath. Flexing and extending the spine. One more time in each direction with your own breath. Now resetting the spine to where it's neutral and taking the right arm, reaching it toward the ceiling and threading it under. Rotating the spine, closing your eyes and breathing. With the next inhale, releasing that arm and reaching back toward the ceiling, then placing it underneath that right shoulder. Taking the left hand now, reaching it toward the ceiling and threading it under. Inhaling and exhaling. With the next breath, releasing the arm back toward the ceiling and replacing it under. And now walking the knees back a little bit, walking the hands forward. We're going to come to a flat back, bend at the elbows, elbow creases coming back and lowering the chest and the chin to the mat, moving into cobra. Opening up the front side of the body, pressing the top of the feet into the mat, kneecaps coming off the mat, we're engaging them. Hands are just resting lightly. Inhaling and then exhaling to lower. Releasing everything. Inhaling, rising up again. Exhaling to lower. Now pressing back into all fours. Tucking toes, coming into downward facing dog. Pedaling out your feet a few times. Stretching out the back side of the body here. Looks like you can't really see me on the screen. Let me walk forward a little bit. Crown of head reaching toward the mat. Fingers are spread wide. And now lowering the knees back down to the mat. Walking the hands back toward the thighs and coming up onto your knees. Then walking the left foot forward into a kneeling lunge. So this might be where you stop, or you might be able to go forward a little bit more, really opening the front side of that right hip. Not going too deep to begin with. And then for extra reach and lengthening, reaching with the fingertips toward the ceiling. Breathing. Now bringing the hands down to the thigh, straightening that front leg, pressing the tailbone back, and then bringing your fingertips to the mat if you can. If that's too much, just come here, stretching out the back of the leg here, and still strengthening that right hip. Coming back into our kneeling lunge, reaching arms up, and now taking the left hand to the thigh and really stretching into that right side of your body. Pulling the belly button in, keeping that core tight and engaged. And one more time, taking it back. Taking it to your edge, your place where you feel the stretch but not the pain. Now bringing that left hand on the inside of the left knee, walking that left knee back, bringing the hands back toward the thigh, and we're going to take that right foot forward, going into a kneeling lunge on the other side. And so reaching up, and you might need to take that front foot a little bit wider if you feel wobbly and like you're off balance. Making sure you're breathing. And then bringing hands to the thigh, coming back. I'm a lot tighter on this side, so it feels different. And you will notice that most of us are a little off balance and one side of the body feels different than the other. Breathing. Notice if you pull the belly in, you might be able to fold a little bit deeper. One more time, coming forward. This time reaching for the ceiling with the left hand. Maybe tipping to the side slightly, really getting into that left side of the front of the hip. Exhale, straightening that front leg, hinging at the hip, trying not to round at the back, which I'm reminding myself as well, which means you might have to bend that front leg a little bit. And then if you want to soften into the fold, you can. Bringing the left hand inside, the right hand inside the right foot, and bringing the right knee back. Sitting back into wide leg child's pose, so taking the knees wide, the toes together, reaching forward with the fingertips. Walking to the right side of the mat, so your hands are on the right edge of the mat. A little side stretch here. And now walk them to the left side of the mat. Back to center. Coming up onto all fours and then sitting over onto your side. Taking it to cobbler pose. So soles of feet are together. Heels are somewhat away from the pelvis area, and you're sitting upright. Opening the outer edge of the hips here. Inhale for lengthen the spine. Exhale to tip forward just slightly, and then softening into the fold. And I'm counting 5 cycle breaths here, 5 inhales and 5 exhales. But you can always go a little longer. I'm just trying to show you some good stretches that you can do right now. It's better if you can hold this stretch a little, each of these stretches a little longer. Rising up, pressing the thighs together, coming back onto your back, so grabbing the back of your thighs, rolling down, hands by the side, feet are lined up with the knees and the hips, so it's all in one plane. And pressing the feet into the mat as we rise up with our hips for a bridge pose. Imagine you're squeezing a ball in between the legs so that the knees don't collapse. Go ahead and release that back down. One more time, peeling one vertebra at a time off the mat. Pulling the belly in to protect the lower back. Making sure your feet are firmly planted in the mat. Go ahead and release it down. Drawing the knees into the chest. Rocking side to side. Circling in one direction and then the other. And now releasing one foot to the mat, flexing the left heel, and imagine you're putting a footprint on the ceiling. Counting 5 breaths. You can always straighten that bottom leg. That feels comfortable. And now bringing the knee in toward the chest and rotating it externally, drawing the right knee up and allowing the left heel just to rest upon the right knee to open up the left side of the hip. If you've got a lot of mobility in the hip and you can take it further, you can draw the knee into the chest. Trying to keep the shoulders from rounding, but softening onto the mat. And breathing. Releasing the foot to the mat and unhooking that left foot. Taking the right heel now, flexing and extending toward the ceiling. Staying like this, or if you want to straighten that bottom leg, you can. And now bending at the knee, rotating that knee out to the side and drawing the left leg up. Opening the external hip rotators here. If you want a little more, drawing that left knee in, lacing the fingers behind the left thigh. Now releasing the leg back down, unhooking that leg. Go ahead and roll back to seated position. And sitting cross-legged. And think about whichever way you started out, maybe switching that leg and putting it in front. Just adding balance, sitting a little bit differently. Go ahead and end by exhaling, drawing the chin toward the chest one more time. And then rotating the left ear toward left shoulder. And then to the other side. Drawing the crown of head back toward the ceiling. Opening the eyes if they're closed, and with a big inhale, reaching arms overhead with the breath in, and with the breath out, drawing hands back toward heart center. So thank you for stretching with me today. I hope you felt your hips open up a little bit. You can hold these poses a little bit longer if you want. Have a blessed day.